Hi everyone, I'm Bonita from Pennies to Dollars, and yay, I got a microphone for those of you that have said that you've had some trouble hearing me. So hopefully this clears all of that up for you. Welcome to my channel where we talk about living frugally, saving money, getting out of debt, minimalizing, decluttering, all those things that go together with a sprinkle of country living. Yes, I live in Kansas, and I've lived here most all of my life, except for a couple of years that I lived in Texas. And I live about 500 feet from where I grew up. So not very many people probably can say that. Today, we are going to talk about decluttering and using some of the things that we find, as well as what we can get rid of this summer. This summer, it was a drought. We had dust on all of our shoes. We had cracks in the ground. It was absolutely horrible. All of the ponds, the rivers were growing grass. It was that bad. And so now we are having rain, just pouring rain every single day. My back porch has flooded a couple of times because we live at the bottom of a hill. So what can you do when the weather is not where you can do things outside? Well, today it's actually not raining, but it's so muddy out there, you just sink. So it has to be indoors today, guys. So I thought, what can we declutter indoors that we can get rid of this summer and make things feel a little bit lighter in our homes and make us feel like we're accomplishing something when we can't get outside on days like that. So I made a list of some things that I have been decluttering this summer, and maybe they're things you haven't thought of. First of all, I have gone through our tax papers. Everything that is older than 7 years, I have burned, got rid of. Tax papers, they have different recommendations on how long you keep them. Some people will say 3 years, some say 7. For a business, they say a minimum of 7. I just feel comfortable with the 7. But I had tax papers that were way older than that. You know how you just do them, you stick them in a drawer, and then you don't think about them again unless somebody needs a copy for whatever reason. So I went through and got rid of a bunch of those. I used to work in healthcare, and I had a bunch of scrubs, but I no longer work in an area where I wear scrubs. So I got rid of all of those. So if you've worked in a dentist office, if you've worked in an eye doctor's office, if you've worked in a nursing home, a hospital, there's lots of places that you could wear scrubs, housekeeping, all kinds of things. So if you don't work in that area anymore, maybe get rid of those. The third thing is uncomfortable flip-flops. I don't know about you, but I am at a point in my life where I do not need to be wearing anything uncomfortable on my feet anymore. And so anything that's uncomfortable needs to go. Anything that I wear for a day and it gives me a blister, or the arch of my feet start hurting, or my heel is hurting, any of that, it just needs to go. So I've been able to get rid of some flip-flops, and as I feel like it's appropriate, I will replace them with better quality ones that my adult, mature feet can handle. So maybe that's something you could think about as well. The third thing is t-shirts with logos that I'm never going to wear again. I have some that say volunteer. I have all kinds of t-shirts that I thought I had sorted through those, and I got rid of probably an entire drawer of t-shirts, but I found a few more. So t-shirts with logos, maybe of where you used to work or something like that, that you're just not going to wear again. Maybe cut them up, use them as rags, whatever you want to do with them. But if you're not going to wear them again, find another use or get rid of those. The next thing is, yes, I had some clothes that I bought that I never wore. I was this close to getting into them and I never made it. Still had tags on them. I listed them on eBay today. I've listed several things on eBay over the last few weeks and I've sold a couple. So maybe either sell them, donate them, give them to someone that they'll fit, but get rid of some of those things. I emptied an entire tub today going through clothes. The next thing is things that I've kept for grandkids to use, but they're not being used. Like maybe tiny little cups, tiny little plates, things like that, that maybe they've grown out of, or they're not there for those types of meals, or they're eating off of regular china now. Maybe you're having picnics and they always use paper plates. I'm getting rid of some of those childlike things that I still had around the house, cluttering up my cabinets that I don't need. The next thing is purses and travel bags. I have accumulated so many travel bags in my life. A lot of them have been gifts that I've been given at conferences. Maybe you ordered something in the mail and they gave you a complimentary travel bag. Some stores, sometimes you buy so much, you get a complimentary travel bag. I've just accumulated so many of those over the years. And when I do go somewhere where I need a travel bag, I always use the same 2 or 3. So I downsized a bunch of travel bags. I don't carry a purse anymore, but I actually just carry one of these small little pocketbooks that hook to my keys. And I don't need a purse anymore. I found that when I had a purse, it was just full of stuff that I didn't need to be carrying with me all the time. And it was just something that accumulated stuff. This is so much better. I can always find my pocketbook. I can always find my keys. I don't need a purse anymore. I don't even carry a purse anymore. So the purses were able to go away. Also, I spent an entire day going through my 2 large jewelry boxes of costume jewelry, laying everything out, seeing what I wasn't going to wear anymore, seeing what was broken, what was missing an earring. And I went through that entire thing. It was a huge undertaking and I really did not want to do it, but I knew it needed done. And it was one of those things I had on my list to do when I had time. So I took an afternoon and I went through all of that jewelry. Now my earrings match. I know what necklaces I have. I got all the knots out of them and I got everything organized so I can find things when I want to wear something. And I got rid of the stuff that's just clearly out of style that I'm never going to wear again, that I don't have any reason to even choose that out of my jewelry box. That felt really good. Some of these things that you don't want to do, when you get them done, you feel so good that they really are worth the time if you can find a little bit of time to do those things. Also, getting rid of broken items. We end up with things that maybe the plug gets melted or something quits working. And my husband says, I'll fix that. I can fix that. Well, I'm starting to get an accumulation of things that he has not had time to fix. And now they've sat there long enough. I'm like, is it really worth the space to keep this stuff if he doesn't have time to get around to fix it? I'm just getting an accumulation of things that probably I would rather have the space. So things that are broken, maybe just get them on out of your house. Again, that feels really good. So these are things that, like I said, you may not think about all of them, but when you get done, you feel accomplished. You know that that area is taken care of. It's not hanging in the back of your mind. It's not on your to-do list anymore. It feels really good to erase that off of your list if you keep lists like I do. And know that when you go to reach for 2 earrings, you can find 2 that match. That felt really good. I had a couple of real pieces that needed repaired. I got them into the shop, got them repaired. So yes, decluttering can feel good when you get to the end of a project. I have a lot more projects to do, and many of them are in the house. So when it rains, I can tackle some of those. I have also found things while I'm decluttering that I've been able to use, things that were on my list to buy. For instance, I had zip ties on my list and I found some zip ties. I had that paint spray that is to go over rust. Guess what? I found a paint spray that goes over rust. So I could mark both of those off of my list to buy because I found them. I also wanted to get some more pool noodles because I'm doing some things with pool noodles. Those are amazing for some of the things that you need, and I'll show you that next. But I found some pool noodles when I thought I had tossed them all when all of the kids grew up. So let me show you what I'm doing with my pool noodles I found. So right here, I cut up some of my pool noodles. I affixed them to our electrical pole, and I have some of my yard tools right there handy so when I need them, and they hold my yard tools perfectly. I tell you, these pool noodles are great. I also have this wonderful picnic table my dad made me with this great canopy that is shingled. Well, I have a ton of tall men in my family, and they're constantly cracking their heads on the corner of this because my dad made it with steel pipe. And I tell you, when they hit their head, they know it. But look, I cut the pool noodles, and now when they hit their head, it'll be a soft thing to hit their head on. And I used the zip ties. So yeah, using up some of the stuff we find, it feels really good when you can find a place to use it up. And milk jugs. When you're decluttering, you might keep a couple of these. They work great to cut out the back, leave the handle, use it for scraps by your sink. I like to keep my plunger in mine, and then when it gets dirty, I just toss it and get another one. And also, when it isn't raining, when it is a drought and you want to go somewhere for the weekend, fill this up with water. Use your ripper from sewing. Poke some holes in the bottom and sit it in your flower beds, and it will slowly water your plants while you're on vacation. So these are great when you're decluttering to save a few of them. So we're outside for just a few minutes in between the next rainstorm. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it gave you some encouragement to look at some of the things you have in your house and maybe declutter some of those hidden spaces like we've talked about before. Those make you feel so good when they're done. I hope to see you in the next video.